Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone is well and good this Friday morning. Welcome to Readers Are Leaders, brought to you by youngneXus to celebrate World Book Day. So we're going to be here today interviewing a few people, talking about various books, but also I want you guys to do, oh, by the way, I'm Zeze, just in case anyone didn't know who I am. I'm Zeze Millz. I totally forgot to introduce myself. I'm Zeze Millz, and I'm going to be here with you today with some very special guests. I want to encourage you guys to make sure you put questions in, ask questions throughout the event, and we'll be able to answer some of those questions at the end, and we'll try to answer them as much as possible. So as I said, today is brought to you by youngneXus, and youngneXus is a community project run by the Behaviour Support Service within Enfield Council. But I'm going to bring on Olivia now, and Olivia is going to give us a more in-depth background as to what youngneXus is. So Olivia, how are you?
Zeze, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous. I've never done a live stream before, so I'm nervous.
To me, yeah, this is so weird because it's like, obviously we know people are watching, but we can't see the people watching. So it feels just like a normal meeting that you might have, but I've got to remember there's people here watching. So how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I was just saying, I feel like I'm literally back at school. I this morning when my alarm clock went off, I was like, oh my gosh, wow, I've got to get up so early to do this. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm really looking forward to speaking with so many great people. So could you just tell us what youngneXus is, what youngneXus does, and yeah, just give us a bit of a background about it.
Yeah, no problem. So I could talk forever about youngneXus, but I'm going to keep it really short and sweet. But we're a project based in Enfield that really aims to just connect the community, just to make it a better and safer community. But young people are very much at the heart of this project and everything that we do. And we're really just focused on giving them opportunities and bringing different projects and services into our schools and into our borough, just to try and give young people opportunities, to inspire them, to motivate them, and we do that in so many different ways. So we bring in companies that come into schools and do one-to-one mentoring projects. We've opened up a boxing gym to give young people opportunities to take part in like positive activities after school. We've set up after school projects like a debate club. And we do things for parents and teachers as well. So, you know, delivering and organising teacher training to support staff in schools, parenting forums to help parents, just to reconnect with their children. So there's a lot of work that we're trying to do. But I think my favourite project, and one that we're enjoying running so much, is youngneXus, which is the YouTube channel that everyone's logged into right now.
Hey.
Yeah, and it's a youth-led YouTube channel, so it's really giving young people in Enfield opportunity to learn new skills in editing, producing, social media, content creation, and just using their voice to make a change in their community, because that's what we want, to hear young people's voices and to get them involved in projects that are relevant to them and that, you know, support and help them.
Can we talk a little bit about Readers Are Leaders, like the event today, and why you guys chose to do it, why you think reading is so important for young people, and just, you know, the different things that you around this whole day?
Yeah, of course. So we decided to put this event on today because one of the projects we have in youngneXus, and this is available to schools outside of Enfield as well, is No Privilege, Just Words, which I'm not going to talk too much about because the guy that created this project is actually logged on and we're going to hear from him in a little bit. But it's a reading campaign, and reading is important, Zeze. It's so important. But I feel like it's kind of, it's not really something that people want to do very often. And I don't think people really understand how important it is. So we just thought, we've got this reading campaign. It's an amazing reading campaign. We do so many different projects and events. Why not put on a live stream on YouTube and, you know, celebrate reading and tell people about this fantastic project that we've got within the youngneXus project and how people can get involved.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Olivia, for giving us a lovely detailed breakdown on youngneXus. So as Olivia mentioned, we do have Alfie with us today, who started the No Privilege, Just Words reading campaign. So we're going to speak to Alfie now. And Alfie is going to explain the backstory of it and how this all started. Have you got Alfie? Alfie, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
This is normal time for me, so I can't even say that I'm not used to it.
Alfie's like, I do this all the time. It's only you, Zeze, that's the that doesn't wake up this early. So I'm sorry. So Alfie, can you talk to us about the No Privilege, Just Words, and what it's about, what it does, why it was started? Yeah, just give us the lowdown.
Yeah. So the whole idea around No Privilege, Just Words is really just to kind of think about students and young people nowadays not necessarily having access to books that were written by ethnic authors and telling stories about ethnicity and things about their own culture. So I had a friend who was doing this similar thing with primary schools. So I basically was trying to think about what could we do in secondary schools, because kids don't tend to want to read, and reading isn't necessarily something that is promoted that well for them. So kind of thought, what can we do to get them to really be interested in wanting to do this? So one of the things is get books that are about them. So the idea of them being represented in a book, whether it's fictional, non-fictional, something that will maybe interest them. So knowing my school and the types of students that we had, kind of put together a list of books that would really maybe engage them. So, you know, books by Mallory Blackman, Akala's Natives, things like this, where things they wouldn't have necessarily seen or read about before that would get them interested. The original idea was basically to just get enough books for my school. I know, a bit selfish, but you know, this is what we do. But the idea kind of spiraled a bit. We started getting more people wanting to make donations. We then kind of went to the idea of really saying, well, if we've got more money, what else could we do? So we kind of had that idea of, could we make this a borough thing? So could we get every secondary school, alternative provision, having a bundle of these books that we could say, this is something that is going to be accessible for all the students in Enfield. That then happened, and obviously it got even bigger with the help of youngneXus and Nexus, to the point of not only was it going through all of Enfield, but also even the library started getting it. So now we're at the stage where I'm sitting here talking to you big time, and we're then even talking about now it going beyond Enfield with the Pickled Pepper website, where schools outside of the borough can basically log on, buy a bundle of the books for their school, regardless of whether you're in London, Enfield, or whatever.
And Alfie, have you been, like, when this started, have you been shocked at the response from like the young people? Because obviously, as we were just saying with Olivia, there is sometimes that narrative that, you know, young people don't like to read, they don't want to be, you know, they just want to be on their phones all the time. But what's the response been from the young people with this project?
So I think the difference that I've noticed with young people just generally is it's that desire to now go and read. So I've gone to a number of schools and delivered some of the books. I know when some students have come and spoken to me and said, actually, from reading one of the books, it's made them want to read other books. It's made them want to find out more history about themselves or just general stuff. I think we always talk about knowledge being power. And this is kind of that thing. It's given them the empowerment to go and find out more knowledge about not only themselves, their own culture, the world in which they live in. Because at the end of the day, these are the people that are going to be the next generation. These are the people that are going to be our next leaders. And if you think about everything that's going on in the world, even at the moment, you kind of want them to be well informed and knowledgeable. So they've really kind of grasped it with both hands. I know the libraries have spoken about how quickly the books went off the shelves as soon as they were in there. So I think just the demand itself shows that there was obviously a need for it.
And like, how does that make you feel? Like, when I do things with young people, I find it so encouraging, because I love it when I meet young people that go against the narrative that they love to put out, especially about especially young Black people as well, especially young Black boys as well. How does that make you feel? And when you was growing up, did you have an interest in reading? I'd love to know.
So to answer your last question, I'm probably the worst person you can ask that to. So I can't even sit here and say, yeah, I read loads. I think if I had something like this when I was younger, it would have made me want to read more, because it would have given me the access to something. So for me, it wasn't I didn't have the access. Maybe it was just a bit like I always saw reading as just something you did because you had to. It wasn't something that's, I do for leisure. Whereas now, growing older, now I see it as actually you can learn so much through reading that I might not learn in a classroom, I might not learn in an office. In relation to the first part of your question, in the sense of how does it make me feel, I think as a teacher, and I know a lot of other teachers have spoken to me about this, it's you always want the best for your kids. And I know my school are watching this now, so some of them are going to be saying, is that true, sir? But we want the best for them, and we want the best for them, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in the school building, whether it's outside of school. So the fact that this is now something that they're grasping and doing themselves and kind of excelling at, like you said, young Black boys, just young children in general, we always want them to be doing more than what we did in our generation's time. So for me, it's that sense of, I don't want them to think this is how far I can go. I want them to think, well, sir's done this, I want to go even further than what he's done. I want to go even further than what my family's done, my parents have done. So if what we're doing now is opening a door that they're going to kick down and walk through, so be it. And I suppose it makes me happy that they're being given this opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you, Alf. So we're going to go to a short video now. So can we play the video? Amazing. So guys, remember, if you've got any questions that you want to ask, you can put the questions in. Are we going to take questions now or later? Later? Yes, that would be brilliant.
I have two questions from Facebook.
Okay.
So these are for Alfie. So what is Alfie's favourite book in the collection?
Oh, I was going to ask that, so I'm glad somebody asked that question. Wicked, amazing.
Oh, that's a good question. So I would probably say, can I only have one? If I only have to have one, I'd probably say Akala's Natives, because it was probably the first book that I read and I didn't put down. So I mean, I got it on audiobook, and I remember reading it, walking around East London, because my car was getting fixed in the garage. So I went for a walk for an hour, and I probably did half the book easily in that period of time, because I was that eager to like get the next part of it. So Akala's Natives, probably.
Brilliant. And then another question is, what's next for No Privilege, Just Words?
Oh, good question. If it's up to Mervyn taking over the world, but I think definitely to try and move the project to being more than just Enfield. So again, the whole idea around the Pickled Pepper website, where schools outside of Enfield, outside of London, can get these bundles of books, because actually, as good as it is for my students in my school and schools in Enfield, we want schools all over the country to have it, whether you're Manchester, Birmingham, Sunderland, Wales, doesn't matter where, because the more these books go out and the more students and people that are reading them, then the better. So if I'm really honest, I'm saying I want all the schools or students that are watching this, get at your school and say, why haven't we got a bundle of those books, and asking them to go and get them.
Absolutely. And we have one final comment from Courtney, who said it's very important for parents to read to their children at an early age, which I felt was a really good comment to make. So those are all the questions for Alfie.
Amazing. I thought it was interesting as well, Alfie, that you mentioned audiobooks, because I think sometimes people forget that you can listen to audiobooks, and that is just as good. I know for me, audiobooks are a lot better for me because it's just my concentration. Sometimes I lose concentration when, reading, I get distracted. But if I've got it in my ears or playing it, I find like I take it in a lot more.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the kids that I've come in contact with, when they've started, so when we launched this in our school, for example, I had one of my old year 11, she's in year 12 now. She read an extract from Miss Blackman's book, Noughts and Crosses, to our year 7s. And what ended up happening is a lot of the year 7s then said they either went and watched the TV adaptation on BBC at the time, or went and got the audio book because they didn't have a chance to have a physical copy of the book yet. So it's just that kind of idea what we're talking about. Once they start reading, it encourages them to go and, oh, I want to read this more, or actually I might listen to it because that's easier for me than sitting down like you or me to maybe have a hard copy in front. But either way, we're really just saying we want them to kind of engage with the idea of that reading is important and is powerful for them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Alfie. It's been amazing speaking with you. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying myself, even though I'm the one talking, but I'm enjoying listening to everyone and enjoying all the information. So up next, we have a very, very, very special guest in the building. Drum roll. So we have Stuart Lawrence, and we are going to be talking to him about his non-fiction debut, Silence is Not an Option, Stand Up, Speak Out, and Be the Difference. I absolutely love that title because I feel like that's kind of what I do. I'm always talking. I'm never silent, really. Always talking all the time, always speaking out. And I'm always trying to make a difference. So I really resonate with that title. So I want to speak to Stuart. Stuart, are you in the building? Hi, Stuart. We can't hear you.
Hi, Zeze. I'm so glad you like the title of the book because, look, this is what I've done for you. I don't know if you can see it. Oh.
Have you got one? Have I got a special book for me?
You've got a special book, Zeze.
Oh, wicked. You got to do like what the YouTubers do. They do all this thing like, okay, guys, here you go. This is how you do it. And they hold it so their reflection's not showing in there. Oh, thank you so much.
Well, it's easy. As I said, that's the front of it. So, yeah, it's been a labour of love. And I'm so glad you like the title because it does fit you totally. It totally fits you as well.
Thanks. So how have you been? And yeah, just talk to us about the book. Like, what made you want to write the book? What are some of the themes? Like, let's start off. What made you want to write this book? What
well, first of all, I've got to say I'm dyslexic, so
okay.
Physically sitting down and writing things on plain bits of paper is a mind block for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say to everyone has at least one book in them. Your story, your perspective of the world is what you've seen, and someone deserves to hear that story from your perspective. So I always encourage to say that to everyone. Everyone's got one book inside them. And my book came about through lockdown. I'm usually running around the country doing different bits and pieces. Lockdown happened. And it was really weird because a week before we went into lockdown, I went to meet the publishers, Scholastic, and they were talking to me a book about knife crime. And I was just like, well, that's such a negative subject. What do we need to keep on talking about? The impact of knife crime. Can we not talk about something more positive and give some kids a bit more of a drive and direction of where they could do and what they could be? And that's what I pitched to them. And they were like, yeah, we don't really know. And then, like I said, 2 weeks later, lockdown happened. And then 3 or 4 weeks after that, they phoned me and said, oh, Stuart, do you know that book you said you want to write? Do you fancy giving it a go? And I was like, well, I'm not doing nothing. So, yeah. And I just started writing like that. And again, I definitely would encourage people to understand and know as well, like, So for me, like I said, sitting down, physically writing, mind block. But we've got technology now. You can speak into your phone. I can speak into my laptop. It dictates it for me, and then I can go back through and I can make my adjustments. So the world is such more accessible for people more now, and we just really need to grasp the tools that we have and just get on with it.
So can you talk to me about some of the themes within the book? Because I know you discuss role models, self-control, failure to like imagine, which are all, I think, really important things for young people, not even for young people, for people in general. It's not even just specific to young people, because I know, you know, as I've got older, sometimes you don't want to imagine things because you're almost too scared to, because now the world has told you what you can't do or what you shouldn't do or what you're able to do from whatever background you're from. So just speak about some of the themes and why you thought they were so important to be in the book.
Thanks. So I must confess that I watched your new video yesterday with your mum as well, which is absolutely amazing. And for me, there were so many points that inside my book, I just thought, you know what, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about how things don't always go right. Things are not always plain sailing. And then what happens when things aren't always right? What do you do next? How do you then go again? And my book's about understanding that you are your biggest competitor. You are your person that can either enable you to do something or stop you from doing something. And once you get the notion of how that works, and that little voice inside your head, you know, that negative imposter syndrome and all those things, and understand how to control that and put that to a side and go, do you know what? These are the characteristics that I'm good at. This is my personality. These are the things that I really like. And then to list those things and just to go for those things. And you do need a steely determination in life where you can sometimes, your mum spoke about you like yesterday, about just focusing on one thing and just going for it. That's sometimes important in life. To avoid all the distractions and to know the destination where you want to reach to, and understand that journey sometimes is going to be bumpy and it isn't going to be so smooth. So yeah, we try to give some kids the tools and tips that they need to be the best version of themselves. Sorry, someone's calling me. Let me X you. Don't call.
Black. I'm joking.
No, what this is, it's so the thing where your phone's connected to your mobile. Yeah,
I know.
So it all rings at the same time. But yeah, no, so that's what's really important for me. It's just to give the kids the tools that I know can help them be the best version of themselves. And what I love about my book as well is that you don't need to read cover to cover. You can dip in, dip out, read a little bit, go away, talk to your friends about it, and go back into it.
Well, there's somebody that we're going to speak to now, a young lady called Evie, who actually has read the book. So I want to speak to her because I love when I speak to people that actually, a young person that's read the book, and now, because what happens is we'll talk about it and the young people will be like, yeah, but really, is it that good though? So now we've got someone here, Evie, in the building, and she's going to tell us about the book and what she thought about the book. Hi.
Hi.
You look so cute with your
Thank
glasses.
you.
Oh,
Thank
yes. So talk to us about the book. You've read the book. How did you find it as a young person? Talk to me.
I feel like Stuart's book really enabled me to realize that I can really positively impact the world and make the world a better place. His works reminded me that silence is not an option, that I can like truly make a difference.
So when like, how did you find reading it? Is it an easy read? Was you just hooked in? And do you enjoy reading as well?
Yeah, I'm a very big reader. I love English literature. I love reading. So I've been reading from I can't even remember. I've been reading for so long. I just love reading. I feel like the colors were very important. Like there was orange in there. There was it kept you engaged, the coloring, and the way the font was really big as well. So it was easier to follow on.
Oh, nice.
I feel like that was really important to engage.
Stuart, was that a deliberate thing? Did you include those colors in there on purpose?
So I always say to people, I could either lie here or I could tell the truth, or my mum would beat me if I told a lie. So I'm going to tell the truth. So they said about the colours that, I could go to South Africa. These are really South African.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? I can go to South Africa with my book. I was like, yep, cool. Let's use those colours. And then the second thing is, I'm a massive reader, and I love that. I love books with pictures and illustrations in. I find that really stimulates me. But the gentleman who designed the book and the book cover, he was like, do you know what, Stuart? Affirmations and big block colours of words and statements and titles would really reinforce some of the messages that you're trying to give as well. So it was a bit of he said that, and I was like, well, really, it's going to work. But everyone I've spoken to has really liked that about the book. You know, that it's broken up into, here's an affirmation, here's a title, here's a saying, here's something to hang your hat on to say this is a building block that you can add into yourself. So that's what happened around the books and titles and stuff. So yeah.
It must be so nice as well to hear, like, because you were so deliberate with it, then now Evie saying, oh, it was the colors, it was this that actually made me want to, you know, turn the page and get me locked in. Evie, what was, when you finished reading the book, what were some of the things that you went and told your friends and say, like, oh, like, this is a good book because?
Number one, my friends didn't even see me with the book. They saw me with the tote bag that was given. So they were like, what's that, first of all? And then I gave them the book, and then they saw that he signed it, and they were like, oh my God, that's so cool. So yeah, I feel like everyone now wants to read your book because you signed my book.
Evie's the trendsetter. Yes, Evie, that's what we that's what we love to hear. Well, thank you so much, Evie, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stuart, just to wrap up, what would you tell young people?
Good. Well done. You're pumped.
Live YouTube.
I love it. I love it. I was thinking it was me first. I was like, my dog, what's happened to my dog? That's what I was thinking. Just before we like wrap up, what would be the 3 main things you would want people to take away from your book without giving too much away from it? But what would be the 3 things that you would love people to take away from your book or feel after they've read your book?
So definitely. So I say to people all the time, my son's 11. So this book was pitched at that transition part from year 6 into year 7. And one of the things I always drill home to my own son is about hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Wow. Now, I'm a firm believer that we all can achieve things by working hard, doing that scrappy, uncomfortable, disgusting, in the trenches every day, chipping away at something. And if you keep on with that attitude, then usually 9 times out of 10, success then comes after that. So that's the first thing. The second thing as well, like we're trying to say to everyone about the importance of reading. You know, the reason why reading is so important is because you can decide and make a decision about what you think's important or not important about what you're reading. Rather than, you know, TV and the other types of media that we have that dictate and just tell us loads of stuff. And we've just got to take it all in. And then after the fact, work out the bits that are important and not so important. So that'd be the second thing. And the third thing is it allows you to visit and takes you places that are much more interesting than this grey, boring country that we live in right now. That's also what the beautiful thing that reading can do. So it can transport you to worlds and into environments where it's just not possible to go there. Yeah. But great thing to be able to pick a book up and to dive into those type of spaces. So they're the sort of 3 things I definitely would say encourage people to do. Just go and try. And audio books. I love that we mentioned audio books and digital books on phones as well. Yeah. There's so many different ways now for us. You don't need to have the physical thing in your hand. We can use our devices to get access those things as well.
Amazing. So we're gonna go to a video, short video now, but then after we come back, I think we probably have some questions for you, and then we can get some questions out, and then so we can go to short video now.
Who is youngneXus?
We are a movement.
We are a team.
A platform for young people
where you can express yourselves,
where you are given opportunities
that will educate you
and will help you make a change in your community.
We have created a YouTube channel.
This is your channel.
This is your space.
To inform.
To entertain.
To make content that matters to you.
Be a director.
Be an influencer.
Be a leader.
Be you.
We are youngneXus.
We are youngneXus.
We are youngneXus.
And you can be too.
Amazing. So make sure you guys sign up to youngneXus so that you can be up to date with everything that is happening. Sue, do we have any questions?
I have questions for you, Zeze. I have 2 questions for you from Fresh Steps Independent School. So
For me?
Well, for you and Stuart.
Okay, I was about to say me.
So we've got one question is, what life experiences have you used in your book writing, and what's your main method of planning and writing your books?
Oh gosh, some of these young people coming for my job. Jeez.
two really good questions. So writing wise, I'm a weird person, so I really find writing for me, planning to write, I have to write between the hours of 12 o'clock at night and 2 o'clock in the morning, when there is no one else around, it's super quiet, and I can concentrate and focus on what I need to do. So that's my magical hours of writing, which is difficult because, like Zeze said about early mornings, I don't like doing early mornings too many. So that's kind of
good,
difficult.
Stuart. I'm glad, because I felt like the the wrong one here. Everyone's like,
and I used to be a school teacher as well, so I can't even say I don't. I did mornings, but I don't like doing mornings now. But that's the reason why. And then the second part, the first part of the question. What was the first part of the question about?
So it was about what method do you use
method
to kind of write and kind of plan out the books and.
So let me show you my part of my method. It's probably easier because I'm a bit weird. So I have bits of papers all around my house where I just scribble notes. I'm a massive planner. I have to plan things out. I don't know if you can see that properly because my dodgy camera, but I plan things out on bits of paper. There's loads of bits of paper around my house, and then I get a sketch of a framework of things, and then I add more meat to the bone. So it's like a skeleton first of, here's the topics I want to cover. So this one's about today and tomorrow. What does the day after tomorrow called? And then I'll just add to it and just keep layering on top. That's the way that I like to write. As I said, because I'm dyslexic, so the actual idea of writing in my head is just really. But I love speaking. I love stand up and talking. I find that quite easy. So again, having my phone that I can dictate into, having my laptop that's got a dictation button on it now as well. Great. It just allows me to be a lot more free with just knowing that I can speak. Because again, that's what we're doing by writing, really. Yeah. We're trying to take what's inside our mind, transfer it through our hands onto a piece of paper. And like I said, technology's now moved forward so much now that we don't need bits of paper and pencils anymore, even though I'm a bit old-fashioned.
Any more?
No more questions, but a lot of people did say they were very happy with Evie, so just wanted to say that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Stuart. Thank you. It's been absolutely amazing speaking with you and so encouraging. So make sure you guys get the book. It's silence. It's not an option. Stand up, speak out, and be the difference. And I think that's extremely important, especially for everybody, not even just for young people, but for everyone to, speak out. Don't be scared, stand up for what you believe in, and be a difference. So I actually got to speak to this amazing young guy called Noah. We spoke during the week. We had a quick, well, actually, it wasn't a quick interview. It was a very in-depth interview because I thoroughly enjoyed speaking to him. So we're going to show you a little bit of it now, but what we want you to encourage you to do that. Watch the full interview. It's going to be on the YouTube. So we're just going to show you a little snippet now, and then you can go and watch the full thing later on in your own time. So we're here today to talk about you and how reading has changed your life. So can you just give me and everyone watching and listening a little bit of background about yourself?
So background. So I'll start off with when I was, I'm born in the UK, I'm born in Oxford. I moved everywhere. So when I was 7, I moved to Belgium. I went to boarding school until I was 13. I went to boarding school because my parents didn't have enough time to take care of me at the time. So I went to boarding school in Belgium. Monday to Friday, I'm at boarding school. Saturday and Sunday, I'm in France at my brother's apartment because it was right at the border. So then when I was 13 years old, I came back to the UK. Had a few troubles, got sent to Peru, got arrested, etc. Ended up in Tottenham after becoming homeless. And then I met my mentor, so Tommy.
So what age was you homeless?
So I was homeless from 14 to 16.
Wow. And when you say homeless, this might sound weird, but what type of homeless? Because I know, because like there was one point when I didn't have anywhere to live, but I lived with my friends, but technically I would be classed as homeless because it wasn't my home. I was just staying on my friends, living literally in my friend's bed. So what was your type? What did your homelessness look like, if that's a better way to say it?
It was not a street homeless,
right?
But I was homeless. So for the first year I was homeless, I was at my brother's apartment. It was me,
right, okay, yeah,
a mum. So in Tottenham, because he moved from France to Tottenham. So it was me, my mum, my sister, himself, his wife, and his 4 kids in a 2-bed apartment in Tottenham.
Right.
Second year, council sent us to a hostel around the area in North London, and was there for another year. It was like a hostel was 1 room. It was me, my mum, and sister, and it was like just a small room. We got 3 beds there, a little toilet inside, and you just locked in there pretty much.
And how was that for you, like as a young boy, like having to live like that? What effect would you say that had on you?
I think the effect is that, I've got no space to myself. So obviously, and with, when everyone's in like condensed in a small area, in a small space, we tend to, argue, tend to like get annoyed at each other for small things, get irritated, start having arguments, becomes a headache. Now you want to go outside and get some fresh air, but there's not much you can do. You're just packed in a small area pretty much. So you pretty much space. You can't really do much.
Yeah. Is that when you would say you kind of started going down the wrong kind of path, or how did that happen? How did you get caught up in the wrong type of lifestyle?
I mean, so that started when I came back from Belgium. So when I was 13 and I came back from Belgium, I came to the UK. I lived in an area, was more of a white-dominated area. So it was a village. And at the time, when I was going to school, it was year 8, and I was in a mainstream school, secondary school. But the only black people in the school was me, my sister, and some other person. So when I was in the school, a lot of the Caucasian people would get onto me. So, they would call me the N-word, they'd call me fat nose, you can't swim, etc. Your mum hits you with a belt, and all of that stuff. And then, so basically the first day, I think on my second day, I went to the school, I had a fight already. And that was on the Tuesday, and then on the Friday, I had another fight. And I was having back-to-back fights just through trying to defend myself, because all types of names. In a way, I'm getting bullied in a way. So I can't just sit there and do nothing. I've got to defend myself. Then it got to the point where I was getting too bad, where I had to bring a knife into school for protection. Then I ended up chasing someone with that same knife, which caused me to get arrested that same day. So the police came to my house around 7 p.m. They came twice. First time I answered the door, second time I answered the door. I got arrested. I got put in a cell for about 23 hours. Then I also got suspended for 5 days first from my school. And then on the third day, they told us that I'm going to get permanently suspended, and I'm going to be going to a PRU, so people referral unit. So I was in a PRU for 2 years in total.
The school say, was there any repercussions for, like, did they intervene so it didn't get to the point now where you were excluded?
I mean, I told them about the issues, but they can't really do much, because those same people that are calling me these names and are attacking me, they're people, they're all Caucasians, and I'm pretty much one of the only black people in the school. So even though I told them that, I can't really do much. So it just ended up with me, finding my own ways for protection, which then led me to become more involved in kind of crime and stuff like that, which led to my house getting bricked eventually. If you're having a beef with so many people, my house got bricked 3 times. And
wow. How did reading help you?
Eventually I started to talk to one of his mentees of Imbo Jazz, so his mentees, and we started talking about books, and he was showing me his progress and his process he's gone through Tommy's program, and so then from there, he showed me about reading, why I should read, how to read, And he just kind of brought me from like step one and just went through the steps together. He just showed me pretty much how to read, which I can explain.
Can you tell us the steps?
In Carter. So I read that boxing book. I liked it because I had interest in boxing myself as a boxer at the time, amateur boxer. And that was my actual first time actually reading properly since I was 6 years old, pretty much. I've not read since I was in primary school.
Before you started reading again, what was your relationship with reading? Because I know personally me, I love to listen to audiobooks because it works better for me as a person. But what was your relationship before you started reading again? Was it like, I don't like reading, it's boring, or it's not for me, there's no books that I'm going to be interested in? What was that? Talk a bit about that.
So I think, so I'd see reading as a thing that nerds would do. So,
right, okay.
Be in a school library reading books, and I thought it was a nerd thing to do. I thought it was not cool. It's not trendy to be reading books. Just by looking at your life in the next 2 to 3 months. So, for example, when I first started reading, back when I was 14 again, when I started reading again, and I was in January 2020. It was the 6th of January 2020. And then let's say by March 2020, I now went from a pre to a mainstream school. So through reading the spiritual books, self-help books, I'm now starting to improve myself, and I'm starting to stop hanging around people that I shouldn't be hanging around with. I'm starting to talk differently. I'm starting to do things differently. I'm starting to train more. I'm now doing a lot more runs. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing my boxing stuff. I'm reading books. I'm improving myself generally, which obviously my pre saw in me, which led me to go into mainstream school. So through those 3 months, I could already see the big improvement that I had. So I think even if I didn't start reading, I wouldn't even went to mainstream school. I probably would have left year 11 still being in a pre.
Amazing. I mean, like everything you're saying, by the way, I'm like mentally taking notes because I think, how old are you?
16.
Wow. It's very, 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 very impressive. And I think it's nice to see, and it kind of warms my heart because you don't often get to see young Black men like yourself, who are clearly very educated, very intelligent, and you're here trying to make a difference and tell your friends as well. And that's not the image that we get shown in the media, even on social media, actually, just in general. So it's really refreshing to hear you speak about reading like this and the passion that you have for it. What can you give people, myself, everyone listening, like 3 to 5 top tips on reading, whatever, in any capacity, whether it's how to read or where you should read, anything? What would you say are like the 3 to 5 top things?
So I'd say number 1, read with a reading guide, so a pen or a pencil. And with a reading guide, like I said, you're underlining the words and you're reading, you're going through it as fast as you can while making sure you can understand it at the same time. So that way you focus and you can increase your reading speed probably times 2 or times 3. Second tip, I'd say read first thing when you wake up. So don't touch your phone, don't touch anything else. Make sure your mind is clear in the morning and start then. Third tip, when you read with a timer. Because, for example, when people just read normally, and so let's say I met a young person at my age, and I told them to just read this book. How long do I read for? How many chapters should I read? How many pages should I read? So you have to create kind of, you have to specify how long you should do it for and how you're going to do it. So I'd say, again, put on a timer, always put on a timer, no matter what. Whether you're on a train, put on a timer. Whether you're at home, coffee shop, always put on a timer. Fourth tip, I'd say read in a quiet space. So you don't want to have distractions around you, like your family members or siblings talking and shouting. You want to be, if you got space in your house, read in your bedroom, close the door. If you don't have space, get some headphones, use some lo-fi hip hop type instrumentals while you're reading, and just read from there. As I'd say, fifth tip, always read with a purpose. So don't just read randomly to entertain yourself. Read with the intention to improve yourself. So in life, we've always got problems to solve. When you choose a book that's going to solve that problem right now.
Amazing. And Noah, are you going to become an author? I mean, you should be. Because I'm guessing you, with the reading, I guess when you read more, your vocabulary becomes better. Your what am I trying to say now? How you think, how you look at the world becomes different. So I'm guessing you want to, why would you not now become an author? I'm looking for your books. I'm going to be looking for your books in about 5 years. I'll let you like do your school and everything that you need to do, but in 5 years time I'm going to be looking for Noah books, because
maybe in 5-10 years I might have a book out. Maybe 5-10 years.
Well, Noah, thank you so much. And I've actually followed you because I've actually really enjoyed this conversation, and I want to read a lot more. I want to intake a lot more. So I'm definitely going to follow you and look at all the different. I've noticed that you read on like on a Kindle,
Yeah.
Okay, cool, nice.
I read on the Kindle because obviously I'm still young and there's many words that I don't know. And on the obviously it's improving. There's less and less words that I do not know. But with the Kindle, there's an inbuilt dictionary. So every time you don't understand a word, you can actually just click on it for 1 second and you get a whole definition of the word. So you don't have to, like, if you're reading paperback, you don't have to, go on Google, go on the dictionary and then look at the definition. But and by reading with the Kindle, in the space of 2 years, I've been able to read 95 books.
Wow.
I don't just, like I said, read with a purpose, but through the 2 years from 14 to 16 up to now, I've been able to read in total 95 books. And I think that the Kindle really helped with that, because I'm not slowing down by using a paperback book and going to Google and checking the definition. Right. But if your vocab is very strengthened and you understand words, then you can just use paperback like my mentor does. He's 600 books up, so using paperback books doesn't trouble him.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, well, Noah, thank you so much for taking out some time to speak to me today, and I've learned loads, and I hope everyone listening and watching has learnt loads as well. Noah, you can find him on his Instagram because there's loads of cool things on here. Amazing. It's just me staring in the camera and watching the interview again, like I didn't do the interview. Like, well, that's really interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And like I said, the full interview is available on YouTube. So make sure you check out the youngneXus YouTube channel. It's all on there. I can't believe that we're coming to the end. Like, it's gone so quickly. Well, I hope it has gone quickly. Well, not gone quickly in a bad way, but it feels quick, but you've taken so much information in, I hope. Sue, do we have any more questions to add before we leave?
We have a few final questions.
Amazing.
Yep. So one is, what advice, and this can go to anyone really, what advice would you give to a young boy who thinks reading is not cool?
I'd say, how can you not say it's cool after hearing that young man speak?
That's what I was just about to say.
Self-development, problem solving, adventure. Like, how can you not say it's cool? And I think also sometimes the onus of, oh, you've got to read with purpose, like the young man was saying, read for a reason. I think that's the most encouraging thing I'd say. So think of something you're interested in, think of a problem, something you want to learn, find a book, dive in, that's what I'd say.
And also I almost think that that cool thing is because back in the day, like Noah was saying, when you go to the library, you just see the nerds, and I don't even like using that word. They would have the book and they would be in the corner, and there's that visual imagery of that from back in the day. Whereas now, like we've all said, you can be on your phone. No one even if you still care, because I don't want to go on like we don't care about what people think. Yeah, we all care about what people think, and I know how it is as young people. You wanna be deemed as cool or whatever. I totally understand it, but mate, you've got your phone. No one needs to know what you're reading on your phone. You got your phone there. You just get a cool book and you read it. No one even knows what you're reading, and that's between you and your phone and whatever you're reading. So there's so many ways now to read, and to, if you still care about that stigma of people still making you feel bad about it, there's ways around it. So I would say read, and read.
That's brilliant advice, Zeze. Couldn't agree more. I have a general question. I think that can go out to everyone. It's what's your favorite? Also, what's your favorite book? Because they've asked for 3 books, but what's your favorite book? And I would say from the collection particularly.
Oh God, who's going first? I guess.
Okay. I'm going to cop out and just say I'm going to offer my book as my favourite book. I'm going to cop out.
Makes sense.
Even though I love Akala, I love Marilee Blackburn, but I'm going to go with my own today.
As you should, Stuart. As you should.
Mine
I
would
would have said Stuart's as well, but I didn't get a signed copy when he came to my school.
Stuart, is that how? Oh,
just saying, Stuart, you need to hook me up. So
invite me back. I'm coming back. Invite me back.
Okay.
I think for me, it's definitely The Hate You Give. I thought that was a really powerful book.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Yeah, I think that for me, Natives, but also Noughts and Crosses, just because it was a good play on the way in which the world can maybe be seen and what it would look like if it was in completely the opposite way. And it kind of starts conversations that people start to have, whether it's children, whether it's adults, that, in the mindset in which we live in at this moment in time. I think it's quite imperative to start looking at people from their points of view. And I think this is the whole point of reading in general. It gives you a better understanding of where others are coming from, and then allows you to make informed decisions.
Amazing. Well, before we leave, can somebody just talk about how to receive their NPJW bundle, and all the stuff that people need to know? I mean, I know it's been going across the bottom and stuff, but just, someone can just give a...
Yeah, so you can contact Pickled Pepper. They're an organisation that we're working closely with. So the link is flashing across the screen. If you go onto the Pickled Pepper website, you can go and actually order your bundle of books. Or if you want as well, you can email us nexus@mphil.gov.uk.
Amazing. Well, guys, that is the end of Readers Are Leaders.
Hey, well done, guys.
Well done. I've had an amazing time. I've learned so much. I learned so much speaking to all of you. Stuart, Alfie, Nova, Olivia, thank you. Sue, thank you for all the questions. Thank you for everyone that's locked in. I'm Zeze Millz. This is my dog Dave, who's been here all the time. There he is. Say hi, Dave. It's been great. Make sure you read, guys. I'm definitely going to read more because I need to read more, for sure. So make sure you're reading, and make sure you're just, like Stuart said, you're standing up, you're speaking out, and you're being a difference. And I think that's a good way to end.